Greetings, friends. It's Orange Friday and time for a daily reflection. This may be a difficult reflection for some of you to hear, but I need to say this. Let me start with my own feelings. I do not like an empty worship space, an empty church. I do not like Zoom meetings. I do not like the physical distancing from you. I ache to see your faces on a regular basis. I ache for hugs, high fives, fist bumps, and the physical connections that we all share. I cannot wait to get back to the in-person gatherings, the shy dinner, the harvest fest, the coffee fellowship, the Bible studies, the team meetings, and the concerts that take place here. As I stand in our empty worship space on Sunday mornings, and as I sit here Tuesday through Friday with only pictures of you to remind me who you are, sometimes I'm on the brink of tears. Are we there yet is not just the anxious question of my younger brother as we traveled every summer. It's also my lament today. It's probably been my lament since about March 29th. I feel strong also in knowing that God has called me to be God's prophet and spokesperson to this community of faith. And sometimes God's message is not always heard with acceptance and joy by some of God's people. Late this morning, as I was listening to another powerful speaker at the Festival of Homiletics, an alert appeared on my computer screen. Trump demands governors open houses of worship right now. When I had a break from the festival, I read the news release, and I had an immediate reaction. No way. I've told you that I want worship to return and happen here, how my heart aches on Sunday. I'm still honestly floating from last Sunday's birthday parade, and I still see your faces in my mind. It's because of your faces in front of me here in this space and here from Sunday that I say we will not be opening right now. God called me not just to be a shepherd, but to be a good shepherd. And as Jesus defines that term, the good shepherd is the one who cares for the sheep, calls them out, and goes before them. As the shepherd of this community, I feel a deep responsibility for your spiritual and physical care. Make no mistake about it, our spiritual care and growth is essential. Our ministry, my ministry, is and always will be essential. But we need to make smart choices and listen to God in it. I'm also a student of history. How I enjoy reading, learning, and reflecting on the past. I'm a firm believer in that adage that if we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat it. With that in mind, I have been reading, listening, and reflecting on bits of the information that I can call on the so-called Spanish flu pandemic of 1918-1919. Some of this has been all over the social media in the last couple of weeks or month. How it started, how it had a second worse spike when folks thought it was all over. That second spike took place months after it was over. I don't want a repeat of that with COVID-19, at least not here on my watch at Shepherd of the Hills Lutheran Church. When I asked the steering team to suspend in-person gatherings back on March 16th, it was because there was great concern and worry about what the coronavirus was and what it could do. You may recall that my sermon that last Sunday, the 15th, was really a conversation that we all held together about our worries and our concerns at the time. My notes say that most of us were not worried back then. We were unclear about what was going to happen. The mood with many, though, as I've talked with you over these months, has changed. Now, I celebrate that Solano County has had a small number of COVID-19 cases, and at last I heard just 18 deaths because of it. But there is more anxiety now, and it really has nothing to do with reopening anything. As I've listened to you, I've heard the anxiety over the what ifs. What if it's not over? What if we have another wave? What if we misjudge? As the one responsible for spiritual and physical care and health, it's the reason I asked the steering team on Tuesday to put together a reopening task force. We need good information to be shared from health experts as we are guided in discerning our course of action. Even saying that, we will seek out the best local advice. It doesn't mean that all of you will return to us as soon as we open for the first time. I know that. I've had conversations with some of you. I've heard your anxieties and your fears about returning to worship until months have passed since we reopened. I get that, and I understand your need to stay away, especially those of you who have underlying health concerns. I get that. And believe me, I don't want to put any of you in harm's way. So I'm sorry to disappoint some of you who are saying, when I say that we will not be opening right away, we will not be resuming worship and gatherings right away. I cannot allow that to happen. I do not want a spike to be caused by my foolish decision, or because I was influenced by someone whom I didn't trust in making wise decisions. Now, I got to also admit, on the selfish side, I do not want to preside at a single funeral of you members because of that decision to have worship. I know that I want something more than the scent of faithful people of God in this worship space when we gather on Sundays. I want you to be able to hear the music again of Chris, the worship team, the choir. I want you to be here to sing praises and to shout out with me about how good God is. I want that, but not right now. I stand strong in my belief that we will not return here for worship, for fellowship, for dinners, for gatherings, for singing, for learning, for sharing, for growing, and for ministry. I do know we will return someday for all of those, just not right now. But I do also know that Chris and Rob and Joan and Laura and Sue and I will be here on Sunday morning. And I do believe that you will be firmly, safely sitting at home in front of your monitor, TV screen, phone, whatever device you use, as we worship together separately. When it's safe, when it's healthy, we'll be back here. And I will have more than just simply the scent of God's faithful people gathered in worship. So I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I look forward to reading your comments after the worship time when I get to sit down and see them. And please remember, wash your hands, keep that physical distance, stay home if you are not feeling well, don't go out, wear your mask to protect not you, but others. And of course, I still live with those words from Sergeant Esterhaus. Be careful out there as we go about God's work. Until Sunday. And by the way, this is Memorial Day weekend. So a shout out to those of you who have served. I know Memorial Day weekend is really more about remembering those who have served, those who have given their sacrifice. So for those of you who have someone in your family who gave the sacrifice, thank you. God bless you. And may you keep them in your thoughts, prayers, and if possible, a special time to remember their service to us and to our country. Goodbye for now.